Hello, everyone. It's Fredrina with Trinity Professional Group, and tonight is Thursday. It's our second video of the week. I kind of did a recap on this week of some of the topics I've already discussed, how to implement them within your business, finding other ways to kind of mesh your team, listen to them, your positivity, making sure that your goals are being reached, but realizing you're a team and relationships are required to reach those goals. So tonight I'm gonna do just the second half of that recap. Really, I did make a point on Tuesday's video to speak about spiritual health, and I think I'm going to spend the first few minutes of the video speaking on that just because it is so critical. Oftentimes we are focused on our bottom line. We're focused on being the top one in our industry. We're focused on seeing a return on our investment. But when you are going against the grain, when you have chosen to create something, when you have chosen to find your passion and then monetize your passion, share your passion with others, kind of put yourself out there for critique and for people to criticize. Often it's not always critique. Some people are just looking for something to criticize. It is very hard on you mentally and emotionally, and those two combined are your spirit. You have to take care of your spirit. We are all spiritual beings. Our bodies are just shell. It's just a shell. While some of them may be quite beautiful and attractive, they are nonetheless a shell. They're not who we truly are. So we have to take care of ourselves internally, especially as entrepreneurs, because what you're doing is going against the grain. So when your mental health is off, when your spiritual health is off, you are off. You are not in a position to create at your best like you have been created to do, right? So if, like for me personally, I am a Christian. I believe in God and Jesus Christ. So if I'm made in God's image, I am made to create. He created everything. He created heaven and earth. He breathed his breath of life into it. He was specific about the things that he placed on earth and then gave them to Adam to name thereafter. So I feel like when we embody who we are as Christians, when we embody who we are as a spiritual being and realizing that our outside is just a shell, it's not exactly who we are. We realize that we're bringing that inside our spirit to life and then monetizing the pieces that we can without fully selling ourselves. But we want to monetize that, or our representation of that, whether it's art, food, books, writing, creating a company that sells tech and that's your passion. All of these things that come from the inside of you, your mind, your intellectual property, your thought process, your ability to create. These are all things that are spiritual. So taking care of your spiritual health is crucial. Taking care of who you are on the inside, what it takes to refill you, what it takes to keep you connected to your purpose and your passion. Take care of that, you guys. I know it may sound cliche to go to church every Sunday, or for other people who may worship multiple times a week, but it's actually detrimental to the health of you as a person, and then you, the person who then turns into the entrepreneur. And now you're going to have other families depending on you as we continue to grow and gain employees. So it's so many things that go into entrepreneurship, which is, like I said in one of my first videos, which is why Trinity Professional Group got started. I want people to realize that owning a business is more than an LLC. Owning a business is more than turning a profit. Owning a business is more than just choosing to incorporate your passion, more than just choosing to show people you can do it who said you couldn't do it. It is so much more than that. It is an embodiment of your passion, and then using that passion to turn a profit while also impacting the lives of those who come after you, right? That is a huge undertaking. And I feel like a lot of times people don't take it as serious as they should, or even take care of themselves in a way where they can pour positivity onto others or be in tune with themselves, so they're not intimidated by someone, but they actually have the ability to gain a relationship with them, and both of them together move forward in a way that is beneficial to them both, right? So taking care of your spiritual health, knowing who you are, knowing why you are here, knowing what your purpose is, knowing why your passion has been spurred, are all crucial to what you're going to pour into your employees, who then help you carry out that passion and your purpose as well here on earth, right? So That was a bit long. I'm sorry, but I am very passionate about that. I feel like who God made us to be, we all have a chance to see it in who we are. We all have a chance to look over our lives and see what things have remained the same, what things excite us, what things we gravitate to. And oftentimes, those are the things that actually are propelling us to our purpose. He's just giving us earthly indicators, right? So I just wanted to pour that out there for you guys really quick. But back to the business side. We did do a recap earlier this week where I spoke on how you scope for the future. I went back over the SWOT analysis and why it's important to be honest on that. And I honed in on the positivity it takes to pour out to your team. So if you're clear on where you want to go, another thing I always talk about is clarity. You have to be clear. You have to write it out. You have to know where you're going so that you know where you're leading your people. When you're clear on that, you have an infrastructure that supports your clarity. Infrastructure does not have to be finite. It doesn't have to be set in stone. It does not have to be to the point where it's so rigid that anyone who breaks it is like facing a write-up every single time. Infrastructure is more so having a mold of what it is you want your company to look like, a mold or a model of how you want people to view you as a business owner, how you want people to view your employees as the hands of the business that you're creating, how you want people to view you and how you want to be represented by your employees. And so I think that a lot of times when we think on infrastructure, we think on rules and bad things and things that seem like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. And that's not always the case. You're just giving yourself a mold or a model to follow after so that when certain things arise, you don't have to think on them and spend your creative time putting out fires when you could have created processes that would eliminate the fires altogether. The fires would have never started due to having clarity in your infrastructure. So for me, spreading positivity amongst your team is not always easy. We are human. We feel pressure. We feel the weight of the world sometimes. I know being an entrepreneur, I'm also a mom, a student, an employee at this current time, and all of these other things that go along with that. So there's so much weight on you when it comes to entrepreneurship. And on top of that, you're doing everything yourself for the most part, at least at the beginning. You're sending the emails, you're packing the orders, you are cooking the meals, you are cooking the cakes, you're baking the brownies, you're doing everything that it takes along with packaging said things and possibly delivery and taking in the money, making sure the money matches, buying ingredients. There are so many pieces that go into entrepreneurship. So you have to make sure, number one, you take care of yourself spiritually, which is what I talked about at the beginning of the video. But you also want to make sure that when you're in a position to hire, you're clear on what those things are and how those hirees are then going to help you fulfill those areas or fill those voids, because now you have so much business that you're going to need the help to do so. So when you engage into the idea of having employees, when you dance with the idea of what you want in an employee and what they're going to do and how they're going to help you make it, make sure you're specific, because you have a goal in your mind, you know your purpose, you know your passion, and you've had those repeat occurrences of who and how you are and what continues to gravitate towards you. Because you know that, look for people who also represent that for your business, right? You want them to be extensions of you. While people may not be, I'm not a sneakerhead, but I still like nice sneakers, right? Or they may not be a fashionista, but they still like certain cuts of fabric, right? So you want to make sure you find people who complement certain parts of you, as well as people who are antipodes of you, right? So if I'm someone who's a sneakerhead and I don't mind spending $450, I need someone on the other side who's going to be like, would the average person want to spend that for those? Would the average person find those flattering? Would your target market want to spend that amount of money? Would your target market know the difference in the fabric between your emblem and the shoestrings? Like, you know, all of these things. You kind of need those people who challenge you so that you know exactly how to speak to your audience. And all of this is built on positivity, positive relationships, clarity on where you're going, and then also knowing who you want to represent you as an extension of your company, because they're the ones who are going to reach your customers first, right? So that is this week's video. I really just wanted to recap. I know I've been doing a lot of things these past few weeks and going over a lot of topics, so I wanted to tie them together so you can kind of see how they all play on each other. something I try to do constantly with my content so that you can see that it actually makes sense. There's a reason why so many things are involved. Of course, the Conscious Leader will be out in less than a month on December 15th. I'm so excited. You guys, please make sure you join the call. It is going to be insanely impactful. I know that the content that's going to be in there is going to be applicable, digestible, and you're going to be able to go into Q1 on a high. Again, this is Fredrina with Trinity Professional Group. Have a good night.